Welcome back to Four Faces. Today we're going to talk about that Pfizer of just approved between 5 and 11-year-old kids that vaccine for that COVID-19. It's crazy. Listen, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, anti-masser, none of that, but I do believe in, let's get the facts. Let's understand the whole process of exactly what happened when they got this Pfizer vaccination approved for 5 to 11-year-old kids. Well, to make a long story short, what they did was the fact that it was approved for adults and also approved for kids 15 above. They said they came to the conclusion that, well, in order to conduct the test for kids between 5 years old and above, you do not have to go to the same testing, the same amount of sampling, same amount of kids to determine what the side effects will be, or if there's any side effects for that matter. I disagree with that, because what you're really saying is that we only going to test. They tested. This is not my opinion. Go look on their website and you can see for yourself. Pfizer did a study, a test with less than 3,000 kids. Like less than 3,000 kids. Yep, less than 3,000 kids. So my question to you is this. As a parent, if you're a parent, or if just someone who have relatives, do you think 3,000, less than 3,000 kids is enough testing to determine whether or not your kid should get the vaccine? Because here's the thing. Let's think about this. The next thing that's going to come is that there's going to be a mandate for kids in all schools to be vaccinated with the COVID-19. Now, I disagree with that. Basically that's where I'm going with this. I kind of disagree with that. I think you need to do a lot more testing on kids than you would do for adults. And the reason is because kids constantly developing. They are still in this high development stage. They're still developing. Their whole body has not fully developed yet. So why would I want you to do such a small sample size? I just think the sample size is just too small. Talking about it from a statistical point of view, of course, looking at it from a statistical point of view, it's too small. It's just it's a small sample size. It's no good. It's no good. Come on, we gotta stop this craziness, because the thing with me was that this is going to force parents to have their kids vaccinated, because that's what's coming. That's exactly what's coming. Just like we have now, people, various states are losing their jobs because they don't get vaccinated. So how are they going to execute this on kids is going to be very interesting. It's going to be extremely interesting. Now, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat. That's really irrelevant here. The real question is, do you ask yourself this as a parent? Is it okay for you to know that Pfizer now got approval from the CDC, the FDA, to know that they have determined that it's okay for your kid that's 5 years old, 5, 6, 7 years old, and to 11, it's okay for them to take a vaccine that's only been tested on less than 3,000 kids. Less than 3,000 kids. Is that enough for you to say, okay, it's good enough for me? If you're okay with that, then fine. But at least you know the facts. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care what news channel you go to, no one's going to tell you how many kids was tested prior to it being approved. You're not going to get that information. You're not going to get it. And probably not a lot of YouTube channels going to even mention it. They're not going to talk about it. Because the problem here is that everybody's on board now. Not everybody, I should say, but a lot of doctors, a lot of media outlets, they're on board with this now. Yeah, sure. But no one's talking about that aspect. No one's also talking about the side effects. Do you know? And a lot of people don't know this, and unfortunately, they don't talk about this. Once again, if you go to Pfizer, you'll see that they made it very clear. They said you should not be taking the vaccine, the second dosage, if you have any type of allergic reactions. Why don't the government talk about that? No one's mentioning that. And instead, what we're doing is we're fighting on issues that's kind of make the whole purpose of fighting it stupid. So you may say, what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is this. You're fighting about whether or not you should wear a mask or not, right? Okay, we all know it's a mask, this thing here, piece of cloth. It's a physical barrier. That's all it really is. It's a physical barrier that even surgeons use. Fine, right? It makes you uncomfortable. It makes you not feel well. You know, whatever things happen, I understand, right? So I'm not against you not wanting to wear the mask. But it is a physical barrier, right? That will prevent, you know, droplets from your mouth, from you when you're sneezing, coughing, things like that, from being expelled on other people. That's just a fact, right? It's like taking a piece. If you take a piece of cardboard, you put it in front of your face, the same thing, right? So the point I'm getting at is that we're fighting about something as simple as this, instead of fighting about the issues of the vaccine itself. And some of the issues are, and that's not being addressed and talked about a lot, that should be talked about more, is the side effects of it, right? And another thing is, what happens if you take the vaccine the first time, now that it's being mandated in so much states, and you wind up dying from an allergic reaction to it? Do you get life insurance coverage because of that? Or do you forfeit your coverage because you took a drug that you died off and you made a choice of taking it, right? So how do that work? How do the legalities work out? Where do that take in play? See, these are the things that we should be addressing. These are the questions that we should be asking Biden and all these other states and, you know, different states, governors and mayors. These are the things you need to ask. But no, we running around town worrying about a dumb mask, worrying about, oh, I don't want to do it because, you know, my Fifth Amendment constitutional right. Talk about what's really important. Talk about, okay, like I just mentioned, I don't believe, say as a concerned parent, you know, Pfizer said on their own thing, their own websites, all the information. This is a funny thing. All the information is readily there for you to read. People are so lazy, they don't want to go read up on it. And it's there. All the medical descriptions, what's in the drug, in the vaccine, it's all there. Take the time and read it. And then you make your argument based on that, based on facts, not based on emotions. Because yes, you could probably win these arguments if you base it on facts. And you could probably take it to attorney, lawyers, and you could win your case. But you're sitting there and people are fighting off of a mask and what it feels like, when it don't feel like. Go on the site, look at the side effects that you can experience. It's all types of nonsense. It's things that are critical, things that can kill you. Focus on that. Focus on the fact that yes, they only have less than 3,000 sample of kids. Talk about that. Talk about also, if you want to fight in your police unions, your firefighters, if you want to fight a case, talk about, oh yeah, look on here. Look, Pfizer said, quote unquote, do not take this vaccine if you had allergic reaction or if any ingredients within the medication will cause you to have allergic reaction. It says it. The company said do not take it. But no, we fighting on things that are unsustainable, where you could be fighting on issues that will strengthen your position. People, spend time. Stop with the Republican, the Democrat, the independent, that. No, that's not going to make you win. What's going to make you win, and when I say win, I don't mean that have an ideal that, okay, I'm just going to go out there and go against vaccines. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if you have a position of strength, that position, of strength, gonna come from facts, and you could get it. It's there. It's available. Read it. Go see for yourself, and you're gonna say, "Oh, I understand what Four Faces was talking about." It's right there, and it says it in clear language, guys. They give you a description from Pfizer on all the possible side effects. And there are quite a few. And there are some that are life-threatening. right? There's something life-threatening. Matter of fact, there are people that have died from taking the vaccine. By the way, where are those numbers at? Why nobody ain't talking about those numbers? Why ain't no one talking about it? I'm going to tell you why nobody talking about it. Let's talk about that real quick. Nobody ain't talking about that because guess what? If you talk about that, you reduce the people that want to take the drug, take the vaccine, more precise. Now, don't get me wrong. Vaccine's been around for a long, long time. I know that's going to be the argument. Well, it's been around a long, long time. But you got to keep in mind also, though, when those vaccines came out, there was no options, right? There wasn't, okay, wear the mask or get vaccinated. Didn't our government spend, let me see, billions and billions and billions of dollars on giving us masks and testing? Remember that stimulus plan that came out? Do you know what was in that plan? How many of you actually know? If you look at what's in that plan, billions of dollars were supposed to be given for masks, medical treatment, and vaccinations and testing. Billions of dollars. So when a company tells you, oh, by the way, we don't have no masks, we have no this, they lying. They lying. They lying. Money was allocated to all 50 states as well as different territories within the United States of America. It was there. But yet, everybody's focusing on things that's not going to make you win. Things that's not going to get your point across. People are focusing on issues that's not going to get your point across. If you focus on things that are factual, things that are being said by even the manufacturer themselves, then you're going to have a stronger case. You're going to get people to rally behind you. But you're not doing that, right? A lot of us are just not doing that, right? So let's go back to the mask and the vaccine real quick. See, here on Four Faces, I like to talk about these issues because I think that is very important, especially when it comes to the kids, right? That's why I'm bringing this issue up anyway. That's why I'm bringing this issue up in the first place, is because, you know, kids are involved here. So we got to think about it, as well as parents too, right? Parents got to take care of the kids. We got to all be safe, right? So think about it. If the argument now is this, well, you know, vaccine mandates, it's been around for years and years and years. Okay, like I said before, masks wasn't an option back then. Was it? No, it wasn't. If you're saying the government, keep in mind, Dr. Fauci, Biden, Pelosi, all these people, doctors, all these doctors, like they said, follow the science, right? So let's talk about the science. They said follow the science. Okay, well, according to the science, a mask, this mask, is considered a physical barrier. And according to the CDC, go to their website, see for yourself. They say the mask is extremely effective in preventing COVID-19. Why? Because this here, like I mentioned earlier, it prevents when you're sneezing, coughing, any of those things from it being expelled from your mouth and being inhaled or taken in by another person, whether that through the eyes or inhalation, right? That's what they say. They say it's extremely effective. It's very effective. Okay, great. Now you say, well, we got a vaccine now. This vaccine's been FDA approved, CDC, everything been tested. Fine, there's nothing wrong with that. People go get vaccinated all the time. Nothing wrong with that. But the fact that now, before the vaccine came, you have given people options. I could wear the mask or I could get vaccine. They both are supposed to be effective, but the truth of the matter is the mask is more effective than the vaccine. You say, how is that? Because without getting too much in the medical aspect of it, the vaccine, you are supposed to be able to get the virus and your immune system is supposed to respond to the virus, right? That's different, right? With the mask, it's supposed to prevent you from even getting the virus. See the difference between the two? By me, if I wear this mask, by the way, truth of the matter is you have to wear the mask properly, right? Let's keep that in mind. You can't bring down the face up the. It's got to be worn properly, right? Right? So if you really want to get to the science of it, since everybody's saying follow science, okay. If you want to follow science, the mask is more effective than the vaccine, because the vaccine says, well, vaccine, as we all should know, The vaccine is not a cure for COVID-19. It doesn't solve the problem of COVID-19. It just allows, as you most of you know already, it just allows your immune system to respond to the virus. Well, the mask prevents you from getting the virus to begin with. Isn't that the whole purpose? That's what CDC said. Look at that website. Go look at yourself. Dr. Fauci, them last year, they was saying the mask, testing, mask. Prevention. The mask is a prevention. The vaccine is a way to deal with the virus when you get it. That's the difference there. So with that analogy, with that science, right? That's why surgeons wear masks, right? Think about it. So based on their own science, their own ideal, I would say a mask should be just as good as taking a vaccine. Why not? But my point is, guys, do you see the argument I'm making? My argument is not based on this emotional and rational thinking. It's based on their own science, their own methodology, their own thoughts. I'm using their thoughts and their ideals to say, listen, I have some concern. I'm not saying this so you can get over on somebody. What I'm saying is that you can have concerns, and those concerns are valid. If you feel that, I don't want to take the vaccine because according to Pfizer, if I get an allergic reaction, I'm not supposed to take it. According to Pfizer, their ingredients, they said if you're allergic to any ingredient, you should not take the vaccine. That's their site. That's the people who came up with the whole vaccine in the first place. They say it. But see, we have to focus on that as the argument, not the other stuff. That should be your argument. Anyway, this is Four Faces. I just want to give you some information. I want you to understand the whole thing. What I'm trying to do is focus your argument on the facts. Focus your argument on what's substantial. Focus your argument on things that are really, truly concerning for you. Don't focus it on because that politician, or he's a Republican, he's a Democrat. It serves no purpose. It serves no purpose because there are legalities here as well. Think about it. If you go ahead and you take that vaccine, after Pfizer just told you, because remember they said you need the first dose, the second dose, right? Some places you have to take both doses or else you get fired, right? So now, if you take that first dosage and you get a terrible allergic reaction, God forbid, you die. Right? People have died, by the way. I just want to put that out there. Even though you don't see it being written nowhere in the news, I don't know why they don't talk about it like it never happened. But, right? You die from it. Who's liable for that? Who's liable? Do your health insurance pay for that? Is your job going to reimburse you? You see that argument? That's a valid argument. But no one's talking about it because everybody's so caught up in other things, caught up in the mass and the Republicans and Democrats. Guys, I know I've been going on for a while, so I'm just going to say this is Four Faces. Please subscribe. We're here. We're here for you. Until next time. Peace. We'll talk.